Welcome back to the Runs podcast with me and Nikki, and maybe Nikki's washing machine in the background for a bit. We don't know how long. What's happening?
Yeah. Apologies, everyone. It's on its final spin. Leanne told me it'd be done by 1:30, but it's still going. It should be done in 2 minutes. Apologies for that noise. I'm all right, though, you. Achy, stiff, still, but yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah. We might as well get straight into Bath on the weekend, really, wouldn't it? We went up to Bath on Sunday. Loads of the three boys, you and Harvey, were doing Bath half. And you got around.
Yes, it survived. Got around. Pace in the boy, got t-shirt. Nice t-shirt.
The strip, I just found a spot. I was going to go back and forth, but then I thought it's a spot for you now, and then there's a nice bend for photos and stuff. But then if you move and you come back and that spot's gone or whatever. But it looked easy with there.
Yeah, that was the far side. So it was a bit of a loop bath and two sort of loops with it from down and up the start. Yeah, the last side was a big, long, flat, that was. Yeah, that was... I didn't think the whole course was that bad at all. There was a couple of lumps in the middle on the one side. And then the hill to finish was brutal, the last K, half a K. But, yeah, got around. Enjoyed it. Good day. Like I say, good group of boys up there. Obviously, Harvey, my boy, his first half marathon, having sort of trained him the last 10 weeks, 8 weeks. Yeah, he suffered from about 10, 12K. And didn't I know about it? Run in with him.
I can only imagine. He is the most photogenic runner I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've never seen anyone look like they want to drop dead as much.
Oh, mate, from like the first 5K, so we're on the start now, we get a decent position. Like, there was a big group of us, the three boys. Yeah, a few of them were just going under 125, a few a bit quicker, a few a bit slower. So it's like, right, I'll take the pace, like for RV, like Freeman, Corey, Dickie and Harry were all around there. So like I just said, look, don't let me just pace it. Like, I'll run you as long as I can, 4:04s. Yeah, we set off tidy down the hill, first 5K. Like Freeman and Corey a little bit in front, Morgan and Nathan, Floydie and Jordan had gone a bit further ahead and like just settled in, and he was loving it when he first 5K, chatting, only 4 park runs, giving you the big one. The sun was out, wasn't it? As soon as we got come around, I think I didn't see you the first. No, I just saw you first lap. I didn't see Creeber now, but he did. He said from there on he started feeling it. But then by 10K he was hurting.
It was a nice day for running, oh?
It was nice, but I had a vest on. It was cold waiting, but then by 10K it was warm. From there I was tipping water on my back, so the washing machine stopped as well. Happy days. Yeah, it got. I don't know what the temperature got up to. Probably not hot, but it felt it running. It did get warm.
Because the loop was quite protected by buildings as well, wasn't it? Most of it.
Yeah, that back straight that we saw you, I'd say the far side in between the river. The river's in the middle.
And the other side of it, yeah.
Yeah,
there's 2 bends at the top were open.
Yeah, there was a bit of a headwind at us there that cooled you down a bit. But then when you was going the other way, you could feel the heat because the sun was on us, that one side, basically on you for the whole thing. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a decent race. Wouldn't say it's the fastest, but yeah, he got around 128. I survived, no issues. Just done a 5K recovery tonight. Rest day yesterday. Had a few Guinness for St. Paddy's. And yeah, a few aches today, but no issue. So touch wood, we're on the move.
On the move. He dropped you, didn't he?
He dropped me on the lap, in fairness to him. Like, he had slowed considerably from about 12K. He was running 4:05s. Then he was like, it's too quick. We dropped to like 4:10s, 4:15s, 4:20s. And I said to him, look, if you still want sub 130, 128, you got to like hold this now for the last 2K. And in fairness to him, his pace up the hill, he didn't drop. And when you go through this, like, we walked it to me up the hill to start. Those gates, we knew it was about 200 metres from here. I said, you got to go, but then, yeah, he kicked from here. I didn't, obviously, sprint, and I had no need to, but yeah, I looked at his photos and the photos yesterday, and he was in pain crossing our line. Seen Ari's as well, that was belter. He was similar to that.
I seen one of Harvey smiling as well, mind you. I don't know if that was the start or the finish.
That must have been the start, because he didn't smile for much, I would say, after 6K.
I can't believe he didn't give her a shout out in his Insta post either.
Didn't he?
Shouted out all the pretty girls from Bath Uni cheering him on, but then for his own man pacing him round 12.9 miles of it, like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there we are now. And the thanks for putting him through his paces for 8 weeks to get him fit.
I know.
Hey
Some
ho, good runs from the other boys as well, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say, some really good runs. But some were disappointed as well, but that's the game, innit, at that end.
It is. Like I said to a couple of them after, it's be disappointed now, innit, but then use that and fuel for the next one. And like I say, I didn't think it was easy. It weren't the worst of courses, a couple of hills, nothing really bad. But the one at the end, like last, was it 800 metres, I'm going to say? It's about, like, it's not even where we walked it, didn't we? It's a belter, like, so you don't need that to do at the end.
No, absolutely not. And the fucking winner, how about that Jake Smith boy? We should get him on a pod.
I seen him, obviously you've seen him out on the course. I seen, it was him, Omar and Dewi. They must have been on about 12k and I was on, going to say 8 to 9k, I can't remember. They were coming the other way when there was a big up and round one of the streets, and yeah, they had slightly gapped there. We'd be at that point, but we had a good chat with him for 5 minutes before, didn't we, on the way up? We seen him outside the coffee shop, and he said he was hoping to stick with them to and run about 62, 63, and he hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, good to see, because I spoke to him yesterday on Instagram, and it's like nearly a year ago now that we were on here chatting about the comeback, like, and to see it come in through is sensational. And you say it about everyone in running, but couldn't happen to a nicer guy, like, because they come back, Jake, not the fucking Reds. But couldn't happen to a nicer guy because they're just really nice, and I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, it was good to see him. He looked happy. I seen the video of him obviously crossing the line. He looked chuffed to take the win, and good indicator ahead of London for him, innit?
Yeah. I have got a bone to pick with him because I like messing about with graphics and stuff, and I made him a lovely graphic, posted it, and the first thing he said was, "Why is this in Ks? Why isn't this in Ks? Why is it in miles?"
Innit?
And truth be told, Jake, it's because my Strava is in miles, and when I went on your Strava, it come up in miles, but I fobbed it off as, just saving some space, aesthetics, innit? How many K is it? 13 miles?
21 point whatever.
Yeah, 21 bars behind you. We're not going to look as good as 13 bars behind you, right?
No, true.
Well done, Jake. Well done, Omar. Well done, Dewi. Well done, everyone, because I know what it's like. Like, I hate watching these races. I love watching them, but I hate watching them because when I see how, and it's not slow, but how slow people are moving in the back end, when you see the front end as well, it's fucking painful, that is, like, for them. And just to see, like, it's almost like it's not an out-of-body experience, but kind of like it is, because that's the group I would be in, and you're barely moving, like.
Yeah, well, it's mad. Like I say, when you see them boys come flying past the other way, it puts it in perspective how, like, what we must have looked like. We weren't going slow, were we? By no means 4-minute Ks for the most of it, and people are flying in front of us, and
But people are still on first lap, innit, when you're coming through on second. So it's like,
well, because of the way the way they come down the hill to start in the park, was people literally just starting as we are coming round by, when we're on mile 8, and people are just starting, obviously, because they staggered the start, didn't with waves and things. But they were starting a lot later, so I bet they are the worst of it as well. It got warmer.
Absolutely. Good event, well organised.
It was a good event. I liked it the first time I've done it. I've meant to have done it a couple of times. Once it got cancelled because of snow. And then once because of I'm going to say COVID. It was the first year of that. It was my third time of entering, and got to run it this time, and I did enjoy it. The park ride was easy, wasn't it? Nice.
Park end was a piece of piss, really. Yeah, it's a nice, easy spin up there.
Ride, easy to get to. I know Varane, I seen on his YouTube yesterday, had a bit of issues with the start. I seen him when we was going into the pen. He was like literally on the front row behind the pros, and he had a bit of an issue with stewards not letting him warm up on the start straight, and they then sort of held them after the gun had gone, and they lost a few seconds. But I thought it was good. Nice loop. What are we? March was a good one early in the year.
Yeah, and a nice, just like, easy to get to in there. Like, I probably rather do that than Newport because it's only an extra half hour.
Yeah, half hour extra, really easy for us.
Absolutely.
Big race as well, because London doing out, and it's through London Marathon.
Yeah, what was in the goodie bag?
Do you know, it was just handed to you as you come through. There was a can of Zero IPA, which I did drink. It was quite nice. There was protein yogurts. I don't think there was any water. I seen bananas, but I didn't grab one. There was no water because the boys were saying that it was just the can of beer. So unless there was water somewhere else and I missed it.
I don't think is there normally there's not normally water on a finish line, no? It's normally recovery shake or something.
Always get water, man. Always. It's like you're dying for water then, usually. But I can't remember seeing water, and I know the boys were saying, didn't see any water, and everyone was saying how thirsty they were, but I drank my free IPA beer. 0% mine, but still it went down.
Happy days. Night before, last week's guest, Jack Kavanagh, was tearing it up in Leicester, wasn't it? For podium.
Yes, Leicester podium, 5K.
That was a podium, credit where it's due. Last time we said the coverage was shit. Coverage was banging this time. Fantastic coverage.
Really good. They had that truck today driving in front and like a camera somewhere else who had 2 screens. But yeah, Jack had a PB. Come late again, didn't he? He was sort of off the front park and big sprint finish. Just pipped Ocean Perrin, who also ran a Welsh 5K road record.
Bloody hell.
So,
the winners won like that night.
Yeah.
Every winner was just out. What was it? I can't remember. I do apologize. The name of the girl who won the B race, maybe the triathlete. Wow, she won by 45 seconds, I think.
Yeah, she won by a fair bit.
Is it Cass Farmer?
Yeah, something like Anna Matthews. Can't remember.
A minute. Sorry, I do apologize. But like just watching her running, like she's built different. Because she's a triathlete, in it. She's broad. She was strong. Not that the other girls are not strong, but she was broad and strong, and she never looked in danger at all. And the men's races, but Valley Boys Track Club, some fucking great running again, boys. Adam Eade, Callum Campion, both running well. Happy days, keep it up. It's only the start of the season. Exciting. Yeah. We'll have to dig into them and get some of them on. Maybe a group one or something.
Got some good boys, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think Dion Griffiths ran it as well, and he was in the lab with Dan Nash this afternoon as well. So they're not stopping anytime soon, are they?
No chance.
Fine. What any other worlds is this week in it? So we'll have more to talk about in the professional world next week.
World indoors in China. So I don't know what the times are going to be. Probably that's going to be like 9 hours ahead in it. So they're going to be afternoon races or morning races. So be interesting to see that. Yeah, I don't know what else. It was like Barca full. We don't know anyone who was up there, do we?
No, Barca, I haven't seen anything on our stories.
Barca Marathon, Paris half. I think I only know that because I see Mark Cavendish ran it. Don't know what else was on.
Happy day.
Didn't see how this. Sorry.
Yeah, but some days.
First race of the year.
Absolutely. And then there was a busy day when it was straight home end to the football, and that was shit. Kenkyo is blocked from all channels. But what else before we get our guest on? Have you been? Are you a Kylo in the Wild influencer now?
I'm not. But there's a lot of them.
We're the only two, I think. I don't know what we've done.
Two that's not from South Wales.
Mad. Loads today, Kylo in the Wild. I hope they're selling some products as well, because there's 5 on our feed today that have announced it. More power to them. Yeah, happy days. Enjoy your glasses and your hat, guys.
Yeah, enjoy. Also, what I was going to say, Barkley Marathon started today.
It did. I knew I meant to say something.
And Ben Wernick from Ogmore by Vale, Mark Emery's mate, is doing it. So
is he?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. He's a good ultra runner. But this is just totally different. And you got no.
Is that still the golden handshake and everything to get in?
Yeah, it's really weird how you get in and you don't know. It's like how you find out.
How has he been lucky enough?
Don't know. Like a lot of the top people get invited back, don't they? The ones that have done it multiple times. But for like Ben to get in now, I think he got in last year, injured, and he was able to defer. But how you get in, I don't know. I did ask Mark Emery about it, and he said, it was all like you got to find Laz's email through something, and it's really, weird how you get in. You've got to take a number plate from your country, and there's all weird stuff in it. It's like it's still only like $2 to enter, and you
is
get
it Virgin Boy?
Yeah, Ogmore by Sea.
Oh, we'll have to get Agent Emery on the case now.
We will. and get him on when he's back from it. So they started.
That's your dream, that, isn't it? You'd love to interview someone as Stan Barkley, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, imagine that, because it's so mysterious, isn't it? I know it's more and more because there's more documentaries about it, but loads of it's not allowed to be filmed. They only film by the gate,
Yeah,
and the top of the tower, which is when they come up Ratjaw, I think it is. There's only 2 parts that are allowed to film.
yeah.
Nobody's allowed to carry a camera during. They all get given a non-smartwatch, don't they, just for time, and then they're given a map with where the books are, and each loop's roughly 20 odd miles, isn't it? And it's mental elevation and territory.
Yeah, I love it because, like I said, it's getting bigger and bigger, and racing's getting bigger and bigger, and the internet's getting bigger and bigger, and social media's getting bigger and bigger. But they haven't sold out or anything. Not even their social. It's fucking hard to find out what's going on it.
Yeah, there's just the one guy
over it as well.
Done on Twitter, and he's the only one that updates. He'll get updates from whether he goes up to the tower and he updates who's there, what time, and then he goes back to camp. Right, they're in now. They're taking 15 minutes for food. Off they go again, and that's it. You have no idea what anyone's doing on each loop. Only halfway round and at the end of each loop, which can take. Well, you've got early on. I think they do them in about 8 hours, the early ones, and then the later ones, when obviously they're still at it up to 60 hours, they take in 12, 14 hours, and in the dark and everything. See.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone haven't seen any of those documentaries on YouTube, highly recommend. The first one was Barkley Marathon's race that he was young, wasn't it? And there's been a few since, but yeah, they're class.
Happy days. The rugby's over. Thank God for that for you, right?
I didn't watch a minute of any of it.
Italy finished above Wales, you'll be happy to know.
Yeah, I'd seen that Wales were bottom. They lost every game again, didn't they?
And that's relevant because this week's guest was Rhodri, that has been running a mile for every point we lose by. Started off with an ultra, sandwiched a couple of small, shorter than halves, I think. I don't think he'd done an half for the middle games. And then last week, we got pumped by 50-odd points, so he's breaking that up this week. But in between that, he's given us some time. So shall we take a quick break and get him on and have a chat about not just that, because obviously you've got to be some kind of keen runner to do a challenge like that anyway, haven't you?
Yeah, to even put yourself through that just off nothing, a bit silly. So yeah, we'll find out now as what he's done before and why he made this stupid decision.
Let's have a look at the Bath half finishes, T. Not bad.
Yes, not bad. It's got you probably can't see it in the faint right in behind. It's got all the points. Obviously we went through Green Park, Queen Square, Royal Avenue, in the faint stuff behind the yellow. Yeah, it's nice, quite nice feel, nice fit in.
Has it been through a wash yet?
No, I've just chucked it on. I haven't worn it, so I just chucked it on for tonight.
No, it only wears major medals, Nicky, so you're not seeing the Bath medal.
The medal is... Harvey's is still hanging up on our shelf there. Mine's gone in my bucket in the drawer already.
Right, let's take a quick break and then we'll get Rhodri on, is it?
Yes, sir.
All right, boys and girls, this episode is supported by Racked. Are you looking to gear up your club with some custom high-quality kit? Whether it's socks, t-shirts, vests, tri-suits or bike apparel, Racked has got you covered. With Racked, you can create fully custom kit for your club, designed just the way you want them. The bespoke in-house design service allows you to bring your ideas to life. Whether you're a running club, a cycling club or a triathlon club. And it's not just about style either. Racked delivers high performance gear, perfect for all your training and racing needs. Ready to get started? Drop them an email on info@racked.online and kick off your custom design today. Welcome back. We have been joined by Rhodri Williams, the real Rhodri, the man that you should have seen all over Welsh social media for the last couple of weeks. How are you, Rod? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad. I've recovered a little bit after that shock on Saturday.
Yeah, that must have hurt without having done the run yet.
To be fair, it's kept saying Nicky's not a massive rugby fan is an understatement.
That's a very big understatement.
but he's been keeping
me interested.
Yeah, it's kept him up to date, and we'll get on to it. But and I mean this in the nicest possible way, but a little bit of part of me being happy every time we've conceded an extra point.
That's harsh, That's harsh.
you're raising money for a good cause, right? You need to do it needs to be as best as it can.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that of a lot of people, though. I was sitting with a bunch of people in the Scotland game when I was at the game there, and they were saying the same thing. Like, every time a try went in, they didn't even seem to care about the game. They were more looking my way to go, there's more miles for you to run, then that's more miles for you to run.
Right. We'll get all the way up to the challenge now, Rod. But so you're in Bristol now. You are Welsh, are you?
Yeah, so my family are from Cardiff, Penarth, that kind of area. They weirdly moved to Twickenham, which is the weird one for me. So I grew up next to basically Twickenham Stadium, but with a name like Rhodri Williams and a very Welsh family, watching other Welsh play rugby. So I consider myself completely Welsh. I've always been Welsh, always supported Wales, but with that weirdness of living in England.
Okay. So you went through the school system up in England as well. What was sport like in school for you, or school in general? Were you sporty? Were you not sporty?
Yeah, so started off like most kids playing football. Then I had a really good head teacher at my high school who basically saw my name and went, "Do you play rugby?" I went, "No." And he went, "You're coming here, you're playing rugby." We kind of a Rhodri not playing rugby. Was teeny tiny at the time, then grew 4 feet, over one summer, and suddenly, me being on the wing, I was looking down at all the other people and really enjoying that. I had gymnastics at the same time, which I always think was my weird little superpower, because it gave me an awful lot of weird muscles that a lot of people that I was kind of with didn't end up having. But it ended up kind of really burning me out. Like, I was doing, rugby training on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, gymnastics on a Friday, and then 2 games on the weekend. So it was a lot of sport, but like never ran. It was always team sports, rugby, a bit of hockey as well. And then American football at university, because I was always a big fan of that. And then since losing out on competitive sports, it's been running triathlons basically since then, and a bit of touch rugby.
No. Would you support in the NFL?
Patriots for my sins, but mostly a red zone fan since they've kind of dropped off.
We were going to put yeah. But I guess when you're getting into it, you've got to support the Patriots from that era as well, I guess.
It was the one where I picked up Madden, and I couldn't defend for the life of me. So I thought, this team has a 98 in defense. I'll put them in. Eventually, I'll score points. And then I realized afterwards, this is the Man United of the thing, the team that everyone picks because they're kind of glory hunting away. So it was never about that. And then weirdly, it was the Madden game that then got me watching the sport. So it was that, that kind of reversal,
Yeah, we started, like, Nicky's liked it. But that's how me and Nicky we knew each other. But that's how we became friends then, because we started NFL Fantasy League, which is massively based around Red Zone as well then. Nicky's a big Niners fan and I'm Raiders, unfortunately. But so you played in uni? What position did you play in? Was it still position, like, what's it like in there? Is it flag or contact?
No, full contact. I've got my helmet somewhere up there. I've got a few pictures around from contact. I started out as a linebacker, moved myself to tight end, lost a bit of weight and was kind of running around there. It's a good league. It's one of those weird ones where I always tell a story of there was a guy who came to us from one of the American universities, and he kind of walked into our first session, looked at our playbook, and just went, "I don't know, all of this is wrong," and reset this. Then he was playing offense and defense. He was amazing. We asked him, you must have been, amazing at your college. He was like, "Nah, I'm not going to play college." "Well, must have been great at high school." He went second team high school, and it was that difference if he was just same thing as I imagine if I went across to play rugby in America, or I had buddies of mine who went across to play football. And just growing up with the sport, that knowledge he had was just different to us.
Yeah,
I was going to say, because in my work environment, I work in Aberdare, deep in the valleys, obviously, right? And when Zammit went over, they were like, "Oh, he's going to." I'm like, "You don't understand. He's not going to make." And they're saying, "Oh, why are you being so negative?" I'm not. It's not disrespect. Disrespectful is the wrong word, but like you said, these kids have grown up from it since there's players not playing that are better than Zammit. They never made it into the league, and the international pathway is great, but most of them are kickers.
So I think he had the best chance, but it's actually the weirdest one, because watching him hit a hole as a running back, you just realise the difference between him and just all of these other players. He just looks sluggish, and it's weird because he is so fast on a rugby pitch. But there is just that sport translation. Maybe this year will be different after a year of kind of drilling and working it and seeing it and everything else. Because he is an absolute specimen of an athlete. But it's a sport unlike anything else in terms of how much you need to know versus every other sport, I think.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
100%. Like say with the playbooks, when you see on the behind the scenes docs, the quarterback's playbook is it's just mental, totally different thinking.
Yeah, well, it takes you full circle back to Madden, how hard Madden is to play just by looking at the playbooks on the side of the screen. But off to uni, you've got one of the coolest jobs we've ever had on here as well. Even I would rather do your job than the professional athletes we've had on as well. But was that what you went off to do in uni as well, or have you branched off into that since?
It was very much, I made a film in college and it did well. The teacher was really impressed with it. Everyone seemed to like it. And she turned to me at one point and went, "You realize you can do this at university, right?" And I went, "No, I didn't." Then I looked at the course and found out there was no exams, all coursework. And I went, well, this sounds like... I think I saw a stat somewhere that was 85% of people don't end up doing what their degrees in anyway later life. So I went, if I'm going to go to uni anyway for 3 years and have fun, I may as well have fun on the course as well, and I'll become a banker or a lawyer, whatever I want to do afterwards. And just happened to kind of fall into it. I was very, very, very lucky. The story I always tell is my first job I got out of uni, my first week doing it was the week that Instagram launched video. And there were all these like 40, 50-year-old, TV execs running around. They couldn't work out how to make the video square. And I'm there just going, and they all looked at me like I was a wizard, like doing all this. Suddenly I became the person doing all of this like social stuff for them, had this like nice niche within it. And I've kind of built that out since then. I've always said my job is, I can never be a professional sports person, but I get to be just the person like just behind the white line, like as close to being that professional sports person as I can be.
Yeah. And those professional athletes love you because you're making them look better than they do in real time.
Especially with some of the slow-mo stuff.
Exactly. But running, so uni stops, no more teams, and then you move into running, but swimming and biking by the sound of it as well.
Well, so that was the one. So I started running at uni basically because I did the same thing everyone else did and drank for 2 years, and then realised in my third year that I've got on... I think I was like 16 or 17 stone. I'm 95 kg now, so I'm not sure what I've lost between there and that, but... I basically ran out. I tried to do a 5K and couldn't complete it. I got 3K in and just collapsed in and went, got to change something here. So I was always kind of doing a little bit of running. And then like most people, I think, I can imagine you've had this story tons of times that COVID hit and people went, what the hell can we do? And off we went. I was walking my dog along trails, trying to find everywhere I could go with the dog to take him. And then one day I went, well, I'm walking this 10K route. Why don't I just run it with him? But then I started finding more routes. I was using Komoot. I was looking through, and it turns out around me in Bristol, I don't know how well you or anybody else know the area, but got like the Monarch's Way, the Two Rivers, we've got the Community Forest Path, we've got a thing called the Three Peaks, little Bristol like trail right around the outside. Community Forest goes right around the entirety of Bristol, so there's routes upon routes upon routes, and I was just finding them all and just running more and more and more, and it kind of became that thing that I would do as a head cleanser when I'm sitting there editing away at a MacBook, or I've just had a big long day of shooting, just something to go out and just settle myself, find my ideas, and and double dip with the dog walks.
Yeah, absolutely. COVID is, like I've said this, Joe, I say this over and over on the pod, but like endurance sports and Microsoft Teams were the big winners out of COVID.
Yes.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you continued after that as well. So were you racing? Did you race? Because I only discovered it when you seen the challenge. I was like, I got to get this guy on the podcast. We've got a no dickhead policy, and I didn't even care at that point. I thought I got to get in his DMs before anyone else does. Luckily, I kept an eye on you through the Six Nations, and you're not a dickhead, so that's great news. So do you enter races as well, or is it more just for mental health and not mental health, but cleansing and stuff like that?
The big issue I have with races is because I'm working in sports every weekend, busy. Like,
yeah, of course.
I've tried to enter stuff and I just can't. Like, it's near impossible to keep time free to do anything. So often it's just me by myself, and it's kind of where these challenges come in. Like, it just means that I can, like on random Tuesday, if it's good weather, off I can go. Last year I ran to Weston from Bristol, which I think is dead on. From my house to the pier was exactly 50 kilometres. So I was like, great, route, let's do it. Waited for a nice day, off I popped when my wife was working from home after the dog and did the route, kind of fan out from there. Never, like, speed's never been my thing. Like, and I'll do the odd little event around and about. And I'm never really looking for time. Like, I'll do park runs and things, but those don't really count either. But it's more for me, it is just that challenge of what can I do? Like, what can I push the distance to? What can I find about myself more than anything else?
Yeah, so it's a lot more you against you, really. And just for, I hate singing around mental health and well-being, obviously, but it's good for your mental health and well-being. And like I said, it is that little break-up for you, because I get designated breaks in work. Nikki gets designated breaks. You're at your own, and like I said, you'll be around the world as well. Yeah. So that's a good way for you to get out and explore the different parts of the world you're in as well.
It's been a big challenge. I did the Rugby World Cup in Japan, and at the time I think I was chasing some kind of goal. I think I was trying to run 500 miles over the year or something. And I thought, great, if I go out like once every now and again. I didn't go out at all. I saw none of Japan. I walked basically from my hotel to the 7-Eleven and the substation to get to the office. And that's when I wasn't running very much. But now, because I'm running all the time, like, in Cape Town, I know that Cape Town area quite well, or where you can go, where you can't go, because I knew the route from our hotel and I could run around certain areas. The things I've seen, the place, like the story I always tell with this is, I was working the Football World Cup in Qatar, and I challenged myself to something different, like something similar there, where every goal, every team scored, I'd run a kilometre. And it ended up on one of the days, there was a 3-3, a 2-2, and like a 4-2, and I ended up with 21 or 22K that I had to run around the streets of Qatar. And I ended up finding a route, took me to the airport, right around the airport, back into the town, back out, past our studio. I saw so much of Qatar just because I was running around, looking at things. I'd chat to some of my buddies who'd go, yeah, no, I'd moved from the compound to the office to the compound to the office, just seen nothing.
And didn't see nothing.
And the running's so good. Like you just find routes, and even just 5K gets you to a new place, or you find a new coffee shop. Number of times people will say like, "Oh, where should we go?" And I go, "Oh, I saw this really good restaurant." Like I just run past it. I've seen people are in there. Off we go, and it's lovely because it's full of people.
Yeah, it is a brilliant way. I work away quite a lot and work in cities now, and it's one of the best ways you can first find your bearings. Just like say, quick look, bump, off we go.
Yeah, and for jet lag, the best thing, like as soon as
100%.
I'm landing one of those early shifts and just get out at 6 a.m. and a run. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
because you're traveling a lot, Rod, right?
Too much too much. Yeah.
So how did you get into, like, you got lucky with the Instagram, but now you're self-employed. Now it's you've got your own company, right? The big gigs, Rugby World Cup, Football World Cup, working for yourself, and then you freelance for the different broadcasters and stuff and everything as well, is it?
Yeah, so it's basically I'm a sole trader. It's a mix between relationship management and a bit of personal branding as well. So I'm, part of this challenge as much as anything else was that I make my own content to kind of show what I do behind the scenes. One good way to create content is to create a challenge around it. Last year, I put 150 videos. I published 150 videos in a row. So from January 1st until, I don't know when it was like May or June kind of time, I put a video out every single day. And again, with this, it's, I'm always trying to look for little angles that I can make things around. And for nothing else, so I can work out how to tell other athletes how to make content. Like if I can find something that works for me as essentially nobody kind of, content creator type, if then an athlete starts doing it or a team starts doing it with their established following, you've almost hit gold straight away. Like if there's any indication it's working for me, it'll work for them. So it's a similar thing. Like, a lot of this is relationships that I've built over time. I used to work for the Tour of Britain, doing a lot of things there. That was very literally a buddy just recommended them, said, hey, look, they're looking for video stuff. Had a meeting, they seemed to like me. And then for the next 5 years, I was doing all of their events. Similar with the World Rugby stuff. It was one of my first jobs, the job that I was doing the Instagram stuff at. One of the guys from there, he moved to World Rugby, brought me with him. It's almost as simple as that. And it helps that over time I've gotten better at what I do. And I think I've got quite a good sense of what it is that I do well. So I'm quite good at pitching myself. And again, I've always specialized in sport. So then again, if somebody's looking for sports video, often it's me they'll come to. And I don't necessarily do the big budget sports stuff. I'm not doing like Netflix. I'm not doing Drive to Survive. I'm doing very specific, fast edits within social video for sports teams. So if someone needs that, it's normally that they go, this is a guy who can do it. Let's hire.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like first half there'll be a reel out of the first half highlights. That's you doing that.
Yeah, so I'm
people
I'm
like
on
you.
the pitch side, just rattling those through. It very much depends job to job. When the thing I'm doing at the moment with the Sevens is we're making an embedded series. So we're making 2 15-minute episodes every week for a different team, switching teams between. Last year I was doing the Sevens, I was creating videos at high speed. So if someone scored an amazing try, let's say Charlotte Caslick's coming on up to her 250th try game, whatever it is, I'd be creating that reel so that within a minute or two after the game, we've got, or as soon as something's happened, it's there online, shareable, collab with her, that kind of thing. It's a very varied job, and it requires quite a lot of good camera skills, but mostly it's the editing. It's just being able to be fast and getting content out as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is why, and we'll get back onto running now, but this is why we use Riverside, because it's all AI automated, and sometimes our recording will go askew and it'll take me 2 days to put it all together on Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
This, I can magic the clips, magic the episode. I like to do it manually as well, because like I said, you're learning. You're much further in front of me with all the editing and stuff, but I like to do it manually as well, so you can learn the skills. But this is a godsend.
It's quite fun being the other side of this. Normally, I'm the person on the Riverside doing all the producing kind of things. So just to be able to sit here and talk to it's always great. It's good to see.
Yeah,
absolutely. Back onto running, but still on the content side, because we've had the conversation a lot with our athletes, because you've got your money in rugby, you've got your money in football, you've got your money in NFL, but it's not breadline stuff, but there's not much money, and that's where these athletes are subsiding their funding through the kind of content creation.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than bad content, is there?
No.
So that's a massive gap now as well. Are you exploring that as well?
I work with a couple of athletes directly. I think this idea of athlete as creator will become bigger and bigger and bigger. And to be honest, for an athlete, it's not necessary. Like, you don't have to be the creator to make money or do whatever. But I do think in these niche sports, you almost need to think about how you can find a way to be that. The thing I'm always looking for is athletes who are already creative but just don't know quite how to apply it. Like, that 21, 22-year-old who's been kind of running, gotten to a really high level and just doesn't know what that next step is for them.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. They're very malleable. Like, the content game's not very tricky when it's short form. It's just knowing things like, I preach nonstop this idea of story being promise, progress, payoff. And a lot of the athletes will go, "What the hell do you mean?" And I go, "Well, no, you have to start the story with a promise. Like, if you pitch this podcast on, I would be on it. If I wasn't now here, your people will just log out straight away because you've promised something and you've not had the progress or the payoff." Every one of the stories that an athlete creates should start with what you're promising in that video, what you're progressing through, and what your payoff is. And for athletes, it's easy because, I can't remember his name, but there was a 400-meter runner at the Olympics last year who just did his process of being selected. And he just started on day one. In this many days, I'll find out if I am an Olympic athlete or not. Follow my journey. And that is an incredibly powerful promise. And I think brands looked into that because you could tell the story was there and they wanted to jump in and help him. But if you never made that promise in the first place and you're just making reels of your day, how is a brand going to be able to connect with your specific story? The other one I talk about tons that I feel like athletes are missing out on is just talk about what you like. The one I always use is Rhodri Williams at the Lions. He was very reticent to talk about his Pokemon love. And then as soon as he kind of mentioned it and like his anime and he likes this, he likes that, people are bringing him cards down to the pitch. He's finding this whole secondary community of people who are NFL geeks, essentially. And then conventions are going, well, we don't have like much diversity. We don't have much in terms of athlete. We don't have much in terms of... He's ticking a load of boxes that they want to bring to events. But if he never talked about that, if he never like shared that he has that product market fit for them, they wouldn't ever contact him. So it's a really big, interesting question. We are trying to work with a couple of athletes, or I'm trying to work with a couple of athletes to kind of bridge those gaps. And it's not far away, but it takes keenness from them. And that's always the thing you kind of hit that barrier on, is if an athlete just wants to be an athlete, you sort of just have to sort of shrug your shoulders and go, that's great. But it's going to be very difficult to turn a non-creator into a creator. You have to want to create.
Do it as well.
Yeah. Because I think that, and there's obviously a divide between professional athletes and running content creators that you can visibly see online these days.
Yeah.
Content create, and some of them are great content creators and deserve all the opportunities they're getting because they're doing everything you've just spoke about. We've had Aubrey running on last year, who was just, I don't know if you're familiar with Aubrey at all, but he's just, his growth over the last year, but he's doing everything you're saying then. He's giving the promise, he's telling the story. So it's time for athletes to take it back and learn to be good creators as well, because they can create better stories because they're better athletes.
They've also got the built-in like fandom already. Like if you are people into a stadium, like we were talking about this I was saying this a little while ago. Like if you've someone like the one we also about is Alona Mar coming to Bristol Bears, so she's got more followers than every other rugby player in the world. She comes to Bears, and you can see people flock to that stadium because of her. It's not the team; it's the individual. And people love to support other people. And she herself has managed to pull herself up from the masses of rugby players and has become something different. She's got her little motto. I think it's brains, beauty, beast, which again, like if you can signify down these little like things about you into nice catchy phrases, it's very easy to tell that story. It's very easy to start to get people to jump on it. And equally, it's sometimes working out what the negative is. Like I think she's always talked about that she's a bigger girl. So that beast element is the thing that she's kind of kicking off onto, but she doesn't care because she sees herself as beautiful. So now you have the beast, beauty, brains. It's, and there's a lot of people who look at that message and go, yeah, I am a bit of a bigger girl, but if Alone doesn't care, I don't care either. And being that role model for others is, again, massively powerful. And athletes have that ability to capture in people. They're on a spotlight. And equally, it's that time, like, if you are running kind of in an Olympics, the whole world's eyes are on you for that, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? Anything you can do there to, like, capture attention, capture people across you, get those brands, like, thinking of you is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an all new world. But again, a lot of them we've spoke to, you've got to twist their arm because they don't want. I don't think they can tell the difference. Some of them between I don't want to be a content. It's not you're an athlete that's creating content. You're not leaving athlete. You're not stopping being an athlete. You're just building your brand, which is massive because we said last week, didn't we? Jakob has definitely got an Instagram guy recently.
Yeah, he's definitely got someone helping him with content.
It just picked up as it suddenly it's become a bit more targeted.
Well, he's just gone from like putting the odd thing out, doesn't he, to now he's just, it's like every 2-3 times a day, his YouTube's back up and running, which he has taken a different sort of side. Like you just mentioned, he loves his cars. So he's showing himself in his garage, what he does in his spare time doing up his car. So he's getting another, people with petrol heads will also now jump on that.
Yeah, and it's easier when you're an athlete to talk about what you love. Like, shoehorning it, like, everybody's craving authenticity at the moment, and the best way to be authentic is just be who you are. And I know it's a really cliche thing to say because maybe who you are, but if you're, no matter what, if you're in that position of being an elite sports person, you can't just do sport. There's got to be something else you do that is that you do in your spare time that's interesting, or that you care about, or you watch, or that you do. And it's there's a few little tricks you can do just to bring that into then making everything. The interesting one you said there was the YouTube, because I think that's the big shift. I find short form content much too disposable. Like, there's a question I always ask. My wife loves her reels, and after she'll swipe through for 30 minutes, I'll ask her, tell me one reel that you liked, and she'll go, no idea what I watched. And equally, when you're looking through reels, you're not looking at people, you're looking at the concept. Like, it's the idea that you're kind of going through. I'm under no illusion that people who've seen the running challenge have been like, some people I think have been like, oh yeah, Rhodri, running challenge. But most people are into the challenge, not the meat. It's the very quick scroll of 30 seconds of this, great, on we go. It's that YouTube long form where that connection is. And again, that's even harder. Like, if you're someone who is an athlete, doesn't, reticent to be a creator, now saying you've got to make 15 minutes of this every week, it's harder. But that's where the magic is for these people now.
Oh, in most offices, no one knows your name. You're just, I've seen that guy that's running, I think he's running a mile or a kilometre for every point. They just consider, I'll have 12 TikToks to watch once I finish this podcast off my wife now.
Yeah.
But like you said, the value is in the YouTube, but you need they have to work together as well. YouTube don't run shorts for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
First man, right? Yeah, but you do some running as well. So you said about other challenges as well, but is this the first one you've like put out there, said out loud, this and this is the first one that's gained traction?
This is the first one that's gained traction. I was going to try and do the Cotswolds Way, which I think it's 112 miles. I can't remember where it starts, but it finishes in Bath. It's brutal. It's up, down, all the way across the country. And I went out too fast. Did 33 miles on day one with a much too heavy backpack. So I was trying to camp my way along it as well, and my legs just wouldn't work the second day. And it would have made a really good series, actually, because there's the conflict in there. Like, that's a part of stories. You want conflict. You almost want to fail sometimes because that's a better story than succeeding. But I didn't do it very well. And that's, again, I talked about the 150 days of making content. Without that 150 days, I don't think this idea would have worked, because through making those videos, I went, okay, well, I'm not promising the right thing. I'm not, when I did the first video, I think I said, this is the silliest challenge I've ever done. It probably isn't, but you have to start with a nice hook that gets people and doing all the other videos help with that. I did the thing where I think I'm jumping around the frame quite a lot, because again, I found that if you just sit and talk like this, not really doing a lot, people lose interest. But if you can just switch through a few things, if you can just change your angles without having to do too much, all I do is read the line 3 times, just once here, once a bit further back, once a bit further back from there. I wasn't doing a lot, but that just helps kind of keep people interested, which keeps that watch time going. And so yeah, I've done I wish I had done videos for the Qatar one. I was in the FIFA offices working away. I was going to games because we got free tickets to all of them. Like I was watching a lot of these goals going in. Could have been in the stadium, kind of phone up in my head, kind of going,
Yeah.
That's 3 goals from that game, kind of thing. Like that's the one that I think I regretted, which has helped with this one. So I've kind of gone again, like, well, I wish I'd done it for there. Next time on.
No,
so
no, I can't.
I have, yeah.
The next one is going to be some nice running spots for you, mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before we get on to the challenge, what you were saying about the Cotswold and stuff like that. So it's very similar to what Hardest Geese had done at the start of the year. That must have been a great campaign then, we'll call it campaign from your point of view. What did you think of that entire challenge?
Oh, I loved it. The whole length of Africa is an incredible, and then you could see the same thing. He was getting content all the way. I haven't actually seen a lot afterwards. Did he release the documentary or anything?
Book.
He's released a book and he's done a few other things, and now he's just started. He's running the whole length of New Zealand now, isn't he? He's literally just started this week. Okay. He took a year off. He'd done very little. Yeah. He did like London for charity and helped a few charities out through the year, but he's basically done nothing for a year, and now he's in New Zealand. He started this week.
It's a cool challenge, that one. That's a fun, I mean, it seems to be the year of it. Like it's not the year, but it seems to be the newest thing that people are doing. Is it's looking for a way to do some kind of distance-based challenge, and it's the easier you can make it sound. Like if you hear somebody say, one, his name's great, Hardest Geezer running the length of Africa, you go, okay, I'm interested. Let's hear more. And then it really helped. His videos were good. He had the conflict. Like was it him who was having struggles at borders sometimes? Like he was starting those videos where you're like, we need to get across this border in 2 days, otherwise we cannot continue this challenge. Like again,
it's very Mr. Beast, isn't it?
Very much, yeah.
You can tell I've got a 10-year-old.
Don't lie, you watches all that.
No. Right, let's get on to this challenge. How many miles did you think you would do?
I actually thought this was about the number of miles, 120, 130, 110, but I thought they'd be distributed better, not being 43 at the start, 50 more. Because it's 97 of the miles are in two of the games, which is...
Yeah.
I thought it'd be more like 20, 10, 30, 15... 20, like good distances, like the distances I kind of wanted to force myself to run. 42 to start was just a nightmare. Just didn't want.
Yeah, what a weight off the bat.
Yeah,
42.
And I thought it'd be slow starts because that's the way rugby often works. Is the teams come off the camps, they're not quite clicking in attack, and I thought maybe we'd lose 30 to 10 or something, but not. 42.
Yeah, that's what you said to me, Garnet. It's like Wales haven't been scoring very well. That's what sort of done you a bit with the point differences.
Yeah.
The first game, that was the worst attack performance I've seen watching Wales ever in my life.
My biggest fear after that for the challenge was that I don't think we're going to score a point in the Six Nations. We played so...
Yeah. Because I've been dipping in and out of your inbox. I think I said 200 at the start, which is a bit glamorised, but I think it would have been closer to that if we hadn't made the change and got rid of Gatland in the middle of it. Because you have that new manager bounce for a game or two where those numbers have been smaller. Yeah. But, wow.
Well, that didn't work out the weekend, did it?
No, well, that's the bounce ended, didn't it? Just kind of, but that's also one of those weird ones. We have a team, like I said, it's a buddy of mine. He was asking me how I thought the game would go, and I said, look, if it's 21-0 after 10 minutes, it could be 70-3 because that's a team that's motivated to score, to chase. Because that's the worst part of the whole thing was that once Ireland didn't win by the points they needed, or they didn't get something they needed.
Yeah,
England could have won the Six Nations with like a 100-point win. And while that's incredibly unlikely, you're playing a Welsh team who, let's be honest, their eyes are probably on there's a few eyes there probably looking towards the rest of the season, the domestic season. They've got nothing to play for, really.
No.
And that can work both ways. If you've got nothing to play for, maybe you're like kicking up and going. But if you're playing a team that's that motivated and motivated to score, it can get messy quickly, and it did. And Then they had all the bounces. It was a.
They usually do in those situations, yeah. But you started, like you said, that video. Maybe it was a little bit of a fib as well, like you said, to get the people hooked. But had you stopped running before this? Had you been having a little breather?
Yeah.
So and this was to...
Yeah, I did an Ironman in 2023. What were we, 25? Yeah, 2023 I did an Ironman. And the problem with doing the Ironman is it meant that it was a difficult to do work. And luckily I had a bit of a break around there, so I could kind of ease the work off. But I noticed, I think that January I had nothing coming in. It was very, very quiet work-wise. And I went, okay, look, this is going to be what. One thing I tend to do is I theme up my years. So 2022 was the year of running. 2023 was the year of iron. 2024, last year, was the year of work. This is the year of networking. And I try and like have a theme that runs through the whole thing that is the kind of basis of every decision I make. And if I have to make a decision between 2 or 3 things, which one fits my theme? And for the year of iron, I was basically, I told my wife at the start of the year, girlfriend then, I said to her, look, I'm going to take my bike on family trips. I'm going to be looking for pools everywhere we go to. I'm going to have to run this many miles. And, this is the focus of the year. And work suffered because you can't train for an Ironman and not just plow away hours and hours and hours of your time.
No, especially in your field.
Yeah. I was lucky that I was doing a lot more homeworking, and that's why I picked that to be the period of time.
Right, that was the right time.
I really that's partly why my wife was so agreed to it, because she went, yeah, you're right, this is the only time that you've actually got like 6-7 months of home working planned in. Let's make this work so you can kind of get it off the back and stop bothering me about it, kind of thing. But then, so basically I finished the Ironman. I kept running a little bit. I thought I'd keep swimming. I love open water swimming. It's just an absolute hassle to get down there, get the wetsuit on, do a couple laps. I really wanted to do more cycling as well. Like I really enjoy my cycling, but it's just, again, the difference between putting your shoes on, going for a run, and popping on the light crew and heading on out and finding the route. And so it's a bit wet and icy. I'm not sure if I want, which have I got the right layers on. It's completely different. So yeah, I basically stopped. I got married in October, so 2024. I had a bunch of work just before that. I was off in Dubai and Cape Town afterwards. Then we had Christmas, where it was cold, wet, miserable. I've not been doing any running at all. And literally the motivation for it was, I've not been running. I'm not enjoying watching Wales play rugby. How can I combine these two things so that I can run and enjoy watching Wales play rugby? And I thought, Martha Point, this means that they're going to get smashed every game, or they're going to lose a lot of these games. Let's at least cheer for the point difference. Like, let's at least have it so that at the end of games, if there's a penalty turnover or we score a try and in garbage time, I can be there cheering away. And honestly, that was one of the things I was doing through that French game. Is we have a penalty turnover on the 5-meter line, at, 36-0 down, or whatever it was. I'm jumping up off the sofa, going, "Yes, come on!" Like, for the try, because to me it was like,
like it was. Yeah. So then, but Rod, you ran that 40-odd miles pretty sharp as well.
It was surprising. I was very slow. Like, I think it was 10 hours in total. I ran, the furthest I've ever run is 46, and I've done that in 9.5. So, I took it slow. I walked every hill. I was eating the way around. I had a few calls with a few radio stations wanted to chat to me, so I just jump on the headphones and just kind of slowly walk up or run up a hill, just nattering away. Called my wife on the way back, so she distracted me for a bit over there. I always knew I had some distance in me. I was hurting from 35 onwards. I think 35 was about where my distance ran me out. But yeah, it was that kind of breakdown. I just knew I had a bit in me, but maybe not, quite that far.
Yeah. You must have been landed when they sacked Gatlin.
I was in a mixed bag, because you never know, do you? Like, it's that, they weren't doing super well, but then you never know what comes in either. Like, I know, like NFL, rugby is one of those sports where tactics matter. And if, Sherritt come in and they just hadn't picked up anything, it's lucky that I think that bounce happened and they just started attacking better. Plus, I think the teams were struggling to work out what this team was now, which unfortunately I think England did figure out. But it was interesting. I wouldn't say I was jumping around. The problem is just on rugby side, like, Gatlin is an absolute legend of the Welsh game.
We've been spoilt. We should never have been so good for the last 15 years. Yeah, we've been absolutely spoilt. And I'm 41, so I remember scorelines like the weekend. From before Ruddock took over, we used to get pumped on tour all the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken us, two semi-finals, all those Grand Slams. It's a shame he almost came back a little bit, but I don't think we'll ever remember this. I think it's one of those things where, in 10 years' time, we'll look back on Gatlin and remember the good times, not this past 3 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Then you get a couple of nice short mileages because of the new manager bounce, but they've got to be done in all corners of the globe.
Yes. Well, yeah, I think I did the, I don't know where I did the Italy one, actually. The one I was worried about was the Ireland one, because I was in Canada and I was on a trip as well. I was on a holiday trip at the end of the work trip. So I was worried if that one was 30 miles, I didn't know quite what I would do for that. And in the end, it ended up,
Beaten by a bear.
well, yeah, and it ended up being 9 miles. It was lovely. I was running around the lake in Whistler. I was on
It looked lovely.
it was. I think I even said, I don't know if I made it into the video or not, but I turned to the camera at one point when I was doing the little vloggy kind of video thing, and I was just like, this doesn't even feel like punishment at this point. I'm just out doing something. This is amazing. Like I wouldn't have ever done this.
That's what you were looking for. You got what you were looking for.
Yeah, and that is exactly like it was working out perfectly, and then we got to the final game of England, and then that.
To be fair, England are back as well. They've got 23 starters. They're going to be a force to reckon with for a period of time again now, I think. But yeah, I was texting Nicky, when Nicky, I have to text Nicky the results. He won't sit down. He'll watch some of the Lions tests, won't he?
Yeah.
I was like, and then full time I texted him. I said, it's 46 miles. I think he's got to do 46 miles because it was 79-32. I thought that's it then.
Yeah.
And I was like, scrapper, add another 7 because they scored again.
That was there was so many times in that game that were just little emotional killers for me. There was that moment when I think Wales had 14 minutes of attacking pressure. And then one player headers it on from England and under the posts goes, playing 9 at the time.
Yeah, Genja did it, didn't he?
Yeah. And then I'm sitting there going, like, how has this happened? And then they missed kick, the missed restart at the end of the game, and back they go down the field, and I'm just I'm not happy at that point. Not happy at all.
But you've done 28 of them, have you? I think
14 so far. No.
I must have seen the same one twice.
No, I have, because I've done 2 half marathons, so I'm on 27.
Oh, tidy.
Yeah, so I'm actually further along than I thought, and I'm feeling better than I thought. That first one I was kind of going around at mile 10 going, it's hurting already, and this is one of the 3. Today's was quite nice. I am trying to challenge myself a bit on them. I think each one's been over 1,000 feet of elevation, so it's a hefty climbing.
Yeah, you're not making it easy, are you?
Well, I felt quite bad. Like I did want to do it all in one go.
Yeah,
time's not allowed. What the dream would have been. So I chatted about the Cotswold Way and failing on that. The distance I've got left from the Cotswold Way is 52 miles, and I was sort of sitting there going, like, if I could find the time, I would do that as a fast pack. I'd start
finish it,
half and half, do 2 marathons, take it really easy. The weather's perfect for it as well. It would have been a brilliant week to do it. I just don't have the time. So it's going to be the four halves, and then I'll find time to do a big long run later just to kind of catch everything up.
Still some effort, fair play.
Especially, like, you'd expect you to come in there off the back of that, like, being... You'd go through your Strava and this guy's running, but to pick it back up and
from
no one you couldn't have seen that coming. Well, you might have seen it coming, but you could have split that up as well. But you didn't shit the bed. You done it flat off the bat as well, and it looks like hopefully you've got your running mojo back. And are you going to make another crazy challenge now, or so this is the year of networking though? Yeah, so running alongside it. Yeah. I wanted to see you. What I would have loved to have seen, right, was how many miles was it?
119.
No, for the England game.
54. 52? Yeah, 54.
I would have loved WRU to reach out to you and do a mile with each member to the team, staff. That would have been great social media as well. You know, like on Coach Carter when he says, "I'll do suicides, I'll do them too because it's everyone's fault." That would have been nice to do, like a nice.
Yeah, blame all them players.
I saw a few people saying the biggest one I've actually gotten that's been really interesting is on TikTok, where I put the videos as well sometimes. People will comment, wait, didn't you just play in the game? Because there's the Rhodri Williams who comes on at 9 as well. So people keep confusing me for him and going,
you look a bit like him as well. It's the same.
Then you're running all the miles afterwards? That can't be good for the game. Like, no wonder we're losing all the time. You keep running miles after.
Oh, excellent. So what's obviously you're shooting around now. It's business. This is booming time for business as well for you, I guess, and it's in the middle of all the sports now. It's coming to the business end of a lot of different competitions. So this is the busiest time of year for you as well?
Yeah, this is the kind of this is the time when you get that transition of sports as well. Like cycling's just really kicking off now. I do a bit of work on that, so I'm coming through on there. You've got kind of the sevens coming to an end. We've got all the big games. So I was at the PWR final on Sunday. You know, the Prem Rugby starting to get to the business end of the season with end of season games and then kind of semis. My complete quiet time is August. That's when I very, very rarely work much in August just because, training camps are covered by math. It's all that. Then September it kicks back off again and it's everything's cyclical. And for me, it's weird in that I end up working quite big events. So for the Women's World Cup, hopefully I'll be working that, and it will be 6 weeks of pretty solid work. So for the Men's World Cup, I was out in Marseille for, I think it was 8 solid weeks, like just start to finish, just working. What that nicely affords me is then a bit of time off afterwards. So then I can kind of balance in a bit of off time with time and all of this. So,
relax, go again.
Yeah, but this challenge has helped with the running. Like I was running around today doing one of the routes and went, this is really nice. Why don't I do this more often? It doesn't take too long either. It's just I just need to find the, and I don't think the winds have helped very much either. It's been such a bad summer, like especially UK wise. The running's just kind of look outside.
Yeah, we won't get into that. It's been awful.
Yeah, so I'm hoping if we can get some good weather for a while, that might kick everything back up.
Kick you back in.
Yeah, that's pretty much because I think we've answered a lot of the questions off the Insta poll as well. The estimated, roughly the same estimated mileage. The one we haven't done is if you could give one piece of advice to Rod of 20 years ago, what would it be? But that's always a tricky one. And it depends.
General advice.
I was going to say, should we do running because you're very organized. Like, I love how you do the years, different years and this. But yeah, running advice, shall we go with that?
I wish I'd started.
Well, we are a running podcast.
the main thing I wish I'd started
loosely.
Like, and I know that's not great because all the people who already started running, but like I found running very, very late. Like I did the odd park run and all of this, and I think it's different now. I think if I had started running, because I remember being 15 and the scrum half of our rugby team went to go cycling. And I remember telling my dad and going, cycling's not a sport, you just do. You do that. But that's the mentality it used to be. Whereas now if somebody, I'm becoming a runner, you would nod and go, yeah, okay, makes sense. Like it's kind of shifted a bit, so it's not quite the same. Also that you can do more than you think you can. So one of the stories I always tell as well is I was at New Year's after I just started the running kick, I was just getting back into it. And one of my wife's friends was a runner. And he was on New Year's Day. He was like, I'm going out for a run today. And we're like, how are you doing, mate? Like, why are you going for a run? Like, I want to run 500 miles this year. I remember looking and thinking, that's crazy. How could anybody run 500 miles over a year? And he broke it down as, well, if it's 365 days, it's barely more than a mile a day. All you've got to do is run 5 miles and you'll make it. It's 5K every 2 days. And I went, actually, that does sound quite achievable. And if anything, I think he's the person who kicked off the running journey because I tried the 500 miles. I failed because you kind of start January and you're like, yeah, keen on this. And then I kind of dropped off in May, April, June and that sort of thing. But then the next year I tried to hit that 500 again. And this time I did hit it. Then I went for 1,000 and then the ultras and then everything else. It's, and it's probably that it takes time as well. It's not to look at everybody else around doing like, one of the things I've said to everybody is I did the 43 off nothing. Like, and it seems like that. If you don't know me, you'd be like, I ran 43, but I've got an Ironman in my background. I've cycled.
Yeah, you've got all that background.
I've got the knowledge as well of nutrition. Like I was making sure that I wasn't overeating the night before, but carving up. I drink Huel in the mornings because I find it's very, very good for the kind of protein carb balance for me. I can run a really long way on it. Gels to start, then I'm moving on to solids towards the end. I have a meal normally because I find actually having a meal at about mile 30, 35, like really helps me out just coming through. Salt, I've made that error millions of times, not having enough salt in me. I had Discos. Discos is apparently the saltiest crisp. I had 8 packs in my bag. There was something around. But
that's a great crisp.
No, it is, and I think everybody talks about the Discos and they're like the ultra community. But it's to take your time, set your goals, and don't be afraid if you don't hit them. It's just to try and find the enjoyment in it. But that if you are increasing slowly over time, you'll be amazed. Like suddenly I remember running the 1,000 miles the first time I did it over a year, looking back and going, how did I only run 300 that time? And that person that I was then isn't the person that I then became. But I wish I'd started that journey earlier. I wish I'd started thinking a bit more in terms of, right, set a goal. Doesn't matter if I hit the goal. The aim is the journey along to the goal. And it's one of the reasons the themes is the thing that I do for my years is because it's not like the networking seems like a nebulous goal, but the idea is how can I make networking work for me? It's the same as running the Year of Iron and everything else I've done. It's not about hitting a random ideal. It's about going, well, okay, how do I make better decisions so that I'm achieving things that are important to me? So I made it a yearly task.
Absolutely. And this is like networking for you as well, because you're a smart man, Rod, and we're going to clip this up and it goes out to runners who you were looking to work with in the future as well. So it works for everyone, doesn't it?
Well, it's good for me in that it's one less video I've got to make next week. I can just accept the collab and there we go. It's I can just thumbs up and travel off.
Easy.
Absolutely. Right. We'll let you get off, but before we go, we need to know, we've got 2 staple questions we ask all our guests. What song are you going to add to our running playlist?
Ooh. Can I have a bit of time just to have a quick look through the Spotify and decide that?
Of course you can.
Okay. Did you want to ask the other question as well while I'm having a quick look through?
Yeah, well, that's even harder. But what we'll do is we'll use a different segment time. So who's playing Rhodri in a movie about this challenge?
Oh, man.
It's normally your life, but let's have a movie starting from when you posted that video up until when you catch your flight for your next trip.
Oh, my God. Well, the difference I get is I either have a lot of hair on my head or a lot of hair around everywhere. I don't even know who would play, to be honest. That's a really tricky one. I mean, I'm happy for you guys to suggest some names over as well. I used to get the Chris Martin comparison, but that's when I had a lot less hair when I was at school and they forced me to cut it back a bit. I couldn't have the beard either. I might go with the Rhodri Williams that plays 9 for... let's have so we can at least keep the name kind of comparison going across there.
We'll do it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of this, right? So...
Taron Egerton, he's Welsh, isn't he?
Let's go with that. We can go with him. Yeah. Give me 2 more seconds to quickly look through this because I've got like a word. The weird one is I don't normally listen to music when I run either. I'm much more of a audiobook kind of person.
Yeah.
And I've had those moments before when I'm running across the field and the cows are kind of charging across to cut me off, but the book in my head is all about they're riding into the attack, and I can almost see myself in there going across the.
You can add an audiobook if you want. If you've got a book recommendation.
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, at the moment I'm charging through a lot of Brandon Sanderson books. What I'll do is, have you ever heard of a series called The Wheel of Time?
No.
14-book series. It's like a fantasy thing. They've got it on Amazon Prime at the moment. And that was what I listened to.
Oh, I've seen it. It's new, is it? It's on the top, isn't it?
Yes, it's the 3rd season's just come out of it. I love it. It's great. It's big, expansive, massive world. And it was perfect for ultramarathon training because I could just pop it on. You're in the world, you're just making your way through it. And I think I timed it so that book 11 or 12 was for the ultramarathon. So I had that then to look forward to as I kind of ran through everything that went on through it. So I'd probably go with that.
We'll allow it. Excellent. Rod, thank you ever so much. It's been a pleasure watching you struggle, and not struggle actually, but go through the pain of all these miles. And it's been good seeing everything else you do as well, and hopefully everything keeps going from strength to strength for you all across the board. Nick, anything before we wrap it up?
No, just again, big thanks from me for coming on, and yeah, that was an interesting journey learning about the other side of like Gareth loves all the editing, so he probably loved all that and that side of it. But yeah, best of luck with the rest of the miles you got, and safe journey on your rest of your work for the year. Cheers.
Yeah, great.
And that's it from us for another week, and we'll see you on a start line somewhere soon.
Thank you.